Welcome to the next chapter with Jen Bryant. Today I am joined by Steffini, owner of Craft and Culture Mixology. Hello, Steffini.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you.
I am so excited to have you here today. For one, you're from Sacramento, just like me, and living in Huntington Beach.
Yes.
It's a small world.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so, Steffini, you are a mother, model, business owner, hairstylist, esthetician, and craft mixologist, all currently right
now. Yes.
How do you do it all? The viewers want to know, I want to know, how do you do it all?
With a lot of coffee and espresso.
Nothing like starting your day off with a little caffeine.
Or a lot.
The entire day, that works too.
Yeah.
So, you started your mixology business about 2 years ago?
Yes.
And what prompted you to want to start a craft mixology company?
I was essentially already there. The backstory on all of that was I wanted to do something that was going to be my own. And being behind a bar, you're taking care of people. You really can't have the opportunity to be creative and kind of have, your dedication to what it is that you're trying to do. And when I'm at home, I'm, a mom, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And again, I'm being pulled every different direction. And therefore I can't focus on, again, what I was trying to do. So it came up with an idea where I kind of wanted to have my own space to be creative and to do all the crazy things that I want to do and focus on it and not have to, take care of other people and get distracted. So I came up with this whole idea of my Beat Laboratory, which I took from, the Step Brothers movie. But I was speaking with my now business partner, Colin, and he showed me an idea that somebody had done where they had turned a physical trailer into their own bar. And it kind of just exploded from there. It was like the light bulb went off and I said, this is what I am going to do. This is going to be perfect for me. And I went out the next day and I bought a trailer and I begged my brother to please help me build it because I'm not the best at being a builder. I can do everything else, but I designed everything. I came up with the ideas, the concept, and my poor brother, Lord bless him, because man, did he have to put up with me. Everything had to be perfect. And he ended up doing such an amazing job. And I can't thank him enough for everything that I put him through.
It is absolutely beautiful, like your mobile bar on wheels. So I saw that like when he was building it, the pieces in in the room from the ground up. See, I saw him build it. And it is absolutely amazing. I know we're going to put a couple pictures up for everybody to see, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And people can rent you. Can they rent the trailer? How do people be able to access this service? Because I know you're from Sacramento. You just did an event in Sacramento recently. You do private events. Can you tell the viewers more about what that looks like for you?
So we started out, again, very small. And the first trailer that we did, I poured my blood, sweat, tears, and money into that bad boy. And he ended up getting stolen. Somebody loved it so much they had to have it for themselves. So we ended up building another one. And after building the second one came the portable options. So now we are actually building out our third mobile craft cocktail bar. We have now built 5 portable craft cocktail bars. And what that essentially allows us to do is to not simply book only one event at a time. We've now started a rental program so people can go ahead, they can go to our website and they can click on what it is that they would like to do. They can hire us just a mixologist. Hey, come and shake things up for me. They can rent a mobile bar. They can rent a portable bar. They can, rent all of them. I've even had to show up once. We did a huge event and we had every single bar out. So essentially, it just kind of comes down to what it is that the client is looking for. But we do everything from small parties, private parties, large parties, weddings, you name it. We've done concerts and a party, just a party.
Okay, so that begs the question, how did you get into creating craft beverages? Because I know you've done the craft cocktail menu for huge venues throughout the United States. You've traveled a ton, and I just wondered, like, how did you get into that industry?
I actually was 19 years old when I first got behind a bar, believe it or not. I was working downtown Sacramento in Old Town, and I was a cocktail waitress at the Veranda, which was upstairs from one of the sports bars. And the bartender just simply didn't show up one day. And they grabbed me because I was the only other person working, threw my butt behind the bar, and I had no clue what vodka even was. You said tequila to me, and that's a foreign word for me. So that's essentially how I got started in the bar industry. From there, I've been behind a bar. I've been, the bar manager, all the way to, I've done everything behind a bar back, you name it. So essentially working through the entire chain of command, essentially, is what I would say. I finally got to a point of where I started working at a new little beach bar here in Huntington Beach, and they allowed me to just kind of play with it, play with the menu, play with the ingredients, use your creativity. We want to see something different. We want to see something new. That's when I would say about 6 years ago, I really started getting into the mixology side of what just bartending is all about. Anybody can be a bartender, but diving into the science behind mixology, the math behind mixology, and being able to kind of differentiate what's going to, mesh well. There's everything that goes and involved very much into all of that. So it really just takes a lot of tasting.
I'm always happy to sample.
A lot. It's a very true statement. I don't do that anymore. Now it's more along the lines of, now I get to enjoy tasting things. And as I go, okay, there's a balance of everything. What kind of, cocktail am I trying to achieve here? So again, a lot of it comes with, at this point in time in my life, just simply experience.
Fantastic. And you use all fresh ingredients, which kind of separates you from other mixologists.
Yeah, in my program, I try not to cut corners, and it is extensive work. I use all organic everything. I do fresh pressed juices. I blend all of my own purees. I dehydrate my own fruit. I make my own blends. It's a lot of work that goes into all of it behind the scenes. So when people are tasting these drinks, and I hear it all the time, oh my God, that's the most incredible thing I've ever had in my life. What is this? I infuse everything. I mean, it's a whole crazy world in my kitchen.
It's like the layer of like magic, the magic potions you're making of cocktails.
It is. You're so very right. And, but it really does. It wows everybody, and nobody is, ever left disappointed, ever.
Were you big in science when you're growing up in school? Like, I mean, now to have this like experiment turn out so well, I would think that this was like your forte growing up.
No, in fact, my mother had to eat bugs to get me to pass my science class in high school. Thank you, Mom.
Oh, Elk Grove High School obviously had a high protocol for graduation.
Yes.
I taught in Elk Grove Unified, just for the record, for 2 years, so I can say that.
Oh yeah. I graduated class of 2000, baby. Whoop whoop.
2001, but from St. Francis. So that's what I love so much about your story, though, Stephanie. It's like you've done so many amazing things, and like we're just like at the tip of the iceberg. You've pivoted and changed career paths multiple times. You're able to adapt, change, be resilient, especially during the pandemic when people weren't having events anymore. When you just started up your mixology business, how did you adapt and were able to overcome that challenge of everything being closed during that time?
I created the first craft cocktail to go program in Huntington Beach area. My living room probably looked like an Amazon warehouse. I got on day one notification from ABC that they were changing their liquor laws to allow restaurants and bars to go ahead and create their drinks for people to go under the guidelines. Obviously, they have very strict rules. Everything had to be labeled on the bottle, and so on and so forth. So I created labels, I ordered little bottles, I measured everything out, found the great recipe that was going to do it, mass produced everything, bottled every one of those bad boys, and put the lid on there, screwed it on tight, and put it in the refrigerator over at the restaurants.
Wow. So you were on the forefront of actually the to-go cocktails.
Yeah. And then, we got to, thanks to things of, social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, things of that nature, I got to, showcase all the different things that I was doing. Then I started getting custom orders, and then I was doing fun things. I have a great sense of humor. So I was creating custom orders for people and creating fun labels. So I was doing personalized, 6-packs for people, and people were purchasing them left and right, taking them home and cracking them open, and sharing. And we were trying to just simply, share the love and share the, the joy of being able to do anything along those lines, and drinking in our front yards in lawn chairs.
So you made it look classy at least. So like, I appreciate that.
And umbrellas in their drinks, like, yes.
You make some of the most beautiful cocktails. I've posted so many pictures on social media over the years since moving back to Huntington Beach 2 years ago. They're just the most beautiful cocktails, and they taste so fresh, and people can't get enough of them.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Like I am a huge fan, everyone. Like, let me tell you, Stephanie personally, as like an entrepreneur and who does more than even me, and then being a mom and then having a great sense of humor, you don't find women like this very often, I must say. You've accomplished so much.
Don't let it fool you. I cry a lot.
Don't we all? It's lonely at the top, as they say.
I don't want to be the only one.
You're not the only one, you know me. So anyone that knows me knows that the resiliency and meltdowns go right hand in hand. And that's the best part about, like, being able to be in this industry, I think, is like being able to build each other up, laugh, give each other pep talks, because I did events for years.
It is so important, and I can't thank you enough for always being there for me as well. It's important, especially, women in any industry. I'm a huge supporter, and I want to always build up everybody because I know what it's like being at the bottom.
Exactly, and so do I. And you've been so great to me. And you support so many other female businesses. I know you host events frequently for friends that are launching their businesses, which is so amazing, because it's great to pay it forward.
Always. I have the same motto. I try to treat everybody the same way that I want to be treated. I want to just give nothing but, encouragement and love and respect as much as I can, especially to, all the women that are working their butts off just to try to, make ends meet and support their kids. It's a big deal.
Okay, so on that note, what advice would you give to your younger self or someone who is at a crossroads career-wise or life-wise?
This is such a great question. Thank you so much for asking. Honestly, because of where I am at now, obviously, you know a little bit more about my personal story in my life. I was a stay-at-home mom for a very long time, to support my family and my husband. What advice I would give? I would have finished college. I would not have trusted and relied on anybody else other than myself. So my advice would obviously be, and again, this doesn't belong, in everybody's lap. Not everybody has the same situation. But for me personally, I would have gone back and I would have finished college. I would have done things a little bit differently. So if it ever happened in my life where I was no longer able to rely on, my partner or my spouse, because things happen in life, and starting over, when you're older is really, really hard to do. And being a single mom is not easy and not what I wanted or what I was going to sign up for. So, having said that, I would have had all of my ducks in a row first before I went ahead and decided that I was going to go ahead and be a stay-at-home mom and travel and take care of my husband and my family. If anything ever happened, I would have something to fall back on and not have to try to create a new life to take care of my children at this point and at this stage. It is so hard and it is so difficult. I know in the end I will be successful because I know that I am who I am. I'm not somebody that stops. I'm not somebody that's going to give up. And I'm definitely not somebody that's going to just be okay with just barely getting by. So that would be probably the biggest thing, is finish and take care of yourself so you could take care of your family if you choose to have one later on in life, or whatever the case may be. It's so important to make sure that you have something that you can always fall back on.
A solid foundation, I guess, like would be a way to phrase it, like whether it's trade school or any sort of schooling, to be able to be independent and know that you can take care of yourself and not stay in a bad situation because you don't know what you're going to do.
Yes. Exactly. That is 1,000%. Nobody should ever have to ever stay in a bad situation because you feel like you have nowhere else to go. You don't have something else that you can depend on and rely on. You need to make sure you are always taken care of so you can be independent with your own finances, with your own life, and the power and stability that comes behind all of that is so extremely important.
Absolutely. I mean, when I moved out here 2 years ago, I had $200 and not a clue, but I had all my degrees. And
yes.
When you have all that, no one can take that from you, no matter if you're at the lowest or you're low. Well,
exactly.
That's my security blanket, though, is like, I could go back to teaching worst case scenario. Like having that foundation, like to be able to survive a pandemic, or having several credentials has allowed me to go in and out of being a self-employed to going back into the school system and go back and be able to be resilient in a way that I didn't understand. This is the best advice my dad ever told me, was to make sure that the more degrees you had, the more options and opportunities you would have. And the sacrifices you make early on will make your life easier down the line. And, I'm glad for once I did listen to him in that way, because, as you see me rebuild my life down here, as the next chapter has unfolded, as he was my friend and as a fellow business owner, that's important to know that you can do it. You can make it on your own.
Yes. And that's again why it's so important to have those people in your corner that want nothing but the best for you. It has nothing to do with their own selfish motives. They just want to see you be happy and see you succeed, and they push you to be the best you that you can be. That's a lot of yous. I'm sorry.
Well, as a mother, like the example you're setting for your children, what do you think that you're setting for them? Like, what are you showing them? Like, what do you hope to accomplish with like how hard you're working and doing so many different things and working yourself to the bone 7 days a week? What do you think your kids are taking from that?
My hope is that they know and they see the work ethic that I have, and that nobody's going to hand you anything. And I don't expect anyone to hand me anything, because I work for everything that I have. I'm not somebody that's going to stop until I have reached the goal. And my ultimate goal is what I always tell my kids. I just want to be in a steady place and have a good home where you guys are in a good spot and you're all taken care of. They see the character, they see my work ethic, and I'm really hoping that they take all of that into consideration and be able to move forward as they continue to grow. I'm hoping one day they're going to be like, well, shoot, my mom's a business owner. I can go ahead. I can be a business owner. Well, I'm going to be like, okay, well, you need to go to college and you need to get that degree.
That's so fantastic, because you're already planning out your next chapter to be that role model. So like that is the next chapter.
Right? And I'm going to do it all by my darn self.
And I love it, because the independence and the fierceness, the tenacity, the resilience that you show like every single day inspires me. I know the viewers are going to be inspired as well. We're going to put up your website. Can you tell everybody again where they can find you?
I am at, this is a long one, www.firststepbeverage.co. And right there, you can find all about me. It's got my whole information about me as a mixologist. I'm the senior creative director with First Step Beverage, and everything that I do for them and craft and culture is up there. You can see all the fun pictures and all the different stuff that we have done over the years. And then you can kind of follow a little bit about our story and how we've come so far.
I love it,
building
Steffini.
In my bedroom to presenting them to the public.
I love it, Steffini. Thank you so much for joining me today for the next chapter of Jen Bryan.
Thank you.
Anytime. And for all you viewers out there, I can't wait for you to see what we have for you next. So you got to tune in to the next chapter with Jen Bryan.